Hey man, I ain't gonna hold you, but I'm pretty undefeated in rock paper. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. All right. I'm pretty. Well, who the fuck? Where you been at, huh?
Kazuya. Sora. 3, 2, 1, go!
Hey, look, there's a lot of dry behavior that is going on. Okay, I'm sorry. I actually had somebody go about coming in, so I apologize. Yeah, I don't think Sora versus K. Rool's all that great. It's pretty terrible. This man can't recover. Sora don't give a damn about Cannonball like that. It don't seem like it's all that fun. I wouldn't play it. Anyways, though, since I do have you here, Hype, yeah, we are going to be doing a Street Fighter... Oh, wow! Wow! Oh my god! Oh my god! Nah, that's dry. That's really dry. Okay. that's mad dry. Y'all ever been hit by that move in Tekken? It's a banger. Okay. So you ever heard that song by Kaya? You feel it in your neck and your back. mean, that's what I'd be saying, but you know, people don't want to listen to me, man. I'm just some shield, you know. So don't mind me, dog. I'm not really somebody who is for the whole idea of bans like that, but I understand that sometimes action must be took. I think for Steve, I think it's pretty understandable, but at the same time, I don't like to see it happen. If I had it my way, I personally would not ban Steve. But I understand as to everybody's complaints, especially with this character having some pretty game-breaking stuff. Yep. Hey, don't beat yourself at the character select, dog. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he still can pretty much do that same thing. It's harder now. But you know how it goes. I think my big point of contention is that a lot of people don't value execution as being that big of a barrier. But execution is literally the reason why some of the characters in this game do not get played like that. The reason why we don't have a lot of representation of like Ryu and Ken and Bayo. They're not as easy to pick up like some of the other characters. They require some execution. And that's just the truth of the matter for the situation. This ain't wobbling from, yeah, I mean, it's true. And I don't really think that's the case. I think that their representation would be low, period, anyways, and it has been. Like, it's pretty much been like that historically for the game, of where like there's just not a lot of people that play that character. I mean, yeah, but even if we were to say that their execution is not as bad, their execution is a point that people will say as to why that they don't really play the character or want to really invest time into the character like that, because they're harder to play. And like, this ain't even a case where like I'm trying to like I'm trying to really be like picky here, but that's like an actual like point of a reason for people of not really wanting to play that character or those characters. And it's not even necessarily on an input situation either. Like, sometimes it can just be hard of like implementing the game plan. Like, I think Sheik fits into that mode. I don't think inherently execution wise it's super hard of what she's trying to do, or what she is trying to fulfill. It is more of the case of like actually putting it all together and having to like have that consistency back to back. So like we've been shown a good amount of times where that some of those characters are very devastating whenever they are able to put the stuff together, but it's just you gotta do it. And because of how this game is where stuff like, you know, DI exists, like you have to be able to improv like very well sometimes versus people. There's too many points of error that can happen that you as a human have to account for. Like there's a reason why like you'd see somebody who may not be as good get picked, but character that's like DK for example, versus some of those other characters that really get picked like that, that would be on a stronger end of roster, like maybe like a Ryu or Ken. Because the game plan for somebody like DK is easy to implement. The game plan for a character like Ryu and Ken is not as easy to do so, unfortunately. Like you just have some characters like I think Palu is like an example where like, you know, Palu just consistent, not really taking too much a risk a lot of times, especially like we're speaking on like pre-patch context of her stuff, like where, you know, like in some situations of where if you're to be playing with some of the characters, yeah, you got to really think about, yo, am I really gonna throw this fireball or not? Should I do it? But some of the characters is not really like that. It's like, okay, well, I did it, so what? What are you gonna do? Trousers. Should probably put that there. The thing about this game for me is that there are a lot of characters that don't even fight in this game. Alright, what I know, I think that you make a good point there, but that's what I'm saying. I think this game is of extremes, unfortunately. Like, you're not wrong. There are some characters where like yeah, you know, they can they can play defense, so they have like these decent projectiles to mess around with, but then their offense is also pretty good, you know. Yeah, but balance for this has always been pretty questionable, you know. Like, I think there are some characters that are decent examples of where you know, they're fine as to how that they are within like archetype of stuff. But even within that, you know, I think some people would complain about those extremes of things as well. Like, you know, I think it, being fair, I think Kaz is probably like a good example where like this character is a really big extreme of offense within this game. He's really good at, you know, putting hands on you, right? But, you know, he does suffer to a degree of like having to navigate around like some of the projectiles. I mean, he does have like a reflector, but it's not like the best of the best thing ever. Where like you have like a Simon and Richter, where that they're really strong defensively, you know, pretty good at just being able to like wall you out and be able to cover the screen with things, but you know, they kind of suffer up close. But if you ask a good amount of people, like both, there's a good amount of people who don't like either ends of those spectrums. Well, yeah, that's pretty much the reason why, is because they can't do it all. For you to be like a good character within this game that's like fair, and I say fair, you know, very loosely.
Stop battle. Kazuya, Sora. 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, I think that the good, well, a few of the good design characters are pretty much within that contention of things. Some of the good design characters are not really that great, unfortunately. I don't think you're too far off base with saying that, but it really depends on what it is that we're looking at. But then again, what constitutes as a good design for character, you know. Just to be fair, you know, they're doing their best and just trying to go about representing these characters within their franchise of things. Like Nintendo, I would say for the most part, and this ain't to take away anything from them, probably is not making a lot of characters in mind of like, this is what we want this character to go about doing objectively at the end of the day. This is how this character is going to play objectively at the end of the day. Now, I could be wrong, but, you know, I don't think I'm too far off. Because I think within Nintendo's ideology is that they just want to make a fun game. So, you know, we're not really looking to make Pit into being like, you know, just like, you know, Zoner character, for example. Not to say that Pit is, but, you know, a lot of them are just like, hey, you know, this is a reference to said series, want to put it in type deal, so on and so forth. I don't think a lot of that really goes into the end product of how we're trying to make this character ultimately function at the end of the day. Which again, it's nothing against them, because again, I think Nintendo's trying to make a fun game. Because they're trying to make a fun game, a lot of these things are not really being intimately thought upon. Well, hey, thanks for coming by, Manton. Thanks for showing up. Say be safe on your drive home. Really appreciate that. But yeah, you know, that's why like we do have some of the characters to basically be as is. Like this ain't supposed to be a 1v1 tournament. Nah, I mean I do agree with that. It's not supposed to be turning into that, which is fine. But inherently, like this game wasn't one of those where they were trying to make this to be some balanced 1v1 fighter, obviously. It is turned into being what it is. And even with them balancing the game, I would honestly say I feel like that there's a good amount of times where like they kind of missed the mark on stuff as to like what could be adjusted of things. But you know, they're trying. I'm not going to discount Nintendo in that regard. But it is cool that we do have this type of product, so I won't ever, you know, dunk on it for what it is. I'm just giving a wowzers. I'm just giving my unbiased perspective of the situation at the end of the day. I think with something, you know, like this, mainly the end game is that we want to make a fun product, and that's it.
Kazuya wins.
Well earned. Well earned.
Stop the battle. Kazuya. Toon wins.
let me switch that up. I mean, it seems appropriate to me, but I understand. You know, the crazy part is when I really think about it, look at like certain characters, like the FGC characters, for example. You know, one of the things that does make them to be as good as they are is that they at least have like a fundamentally sound basis as to like what they're aiming to try to do. I know that may sound a little convoluted, but you know, there's direction at least with the characters. I mean, not really. The reason I would say I'm against that green light is because like Kaz within in Tekken normally is more of an offensive / aggressive character, so it's not out of character from the kind of be this type of way within Smash. I mean, obviously they've went about like adding a few things, like you know, laser and whatnot, that he can just freely go about using. But obviously they have to put a little bit of a spin of the stuff that he has from his own series, implementing into the game. So. But his playstyle things is similar to what you would expect for him within his native game.
Kazuya.
He does want to try to bully you. He does want to try to oppress you. He definitely is one of those where whenever like he touches you within that game, it can be very devastating. It's comparable. Obviously, it's not going to be one-to-one because, you know, this is Smash and that's Tekken, but I think that he is a special case, but I think he's an understandable case. And then we punch the child. Okay. You know, I could have sworn I had hit update on that thing. All right then. All right, my apologies there. Well, so it's gonna be Cyphus taking it 3-1 over Eagle in the grand finale Arethic. Motherfucker. But yeah, shout out to Cyphus taking this new series. It's at number 75. Big ups to everybody who went about coming out on today. Congratulations to our top three in general, Eagle and Heatstroke following along. I do appreciate y'all from the chat being here, hanging out with us. Again, we will be doing an Lieutenant's Tip next Saturday with a $100 pop bonus at least. So if you got some time, please feel free to go about coming by. Excited, we are actually going to be packing this thing on up. So I ain't going to go about holding y'all. It's been your boy Nightmare Zen. Again, thank y'all as always. Until next time. Y'all get out of y'all safe, focus, still winning, Zen. We will see y'all next week.